So what's going on guys, Kate is here and welcome back to a brand new video. For today I will show you the best Necromancer build and leveling guide in Diablo Immortal. So at the start I will explain how to play this class. Then we will look into the best skills and the attributes that you want to use until you reach level 60. And then later we will go over the leveling guide and which gems you want to use on your gear. And then lastly I will show you the best gameplay, so you would know how to get out of your abilities, the best damage and supporting skills and much more. So if this sounds interesting to you, then let's get right into it. So Necromancer is the master of manipulating life and death. With strong AoE and crowd control abilities as well as summons, he can deal a bunch of damage or become a support player. This class is basically really good at almost all roles. And on top of everything else, corpses provide a unique resource to the Necromancer that you can manage to achieve super high damage or to help out your teammates. Necromancer is very versatile and he excels at surviving and keeping his allies and minions alive. One of his abilities can taunt monsters, forcing all enemies nearby to attack you for a short time. One of your best party buffs as well gives you 5 charges that you can absorb 5 attacks, no matter how much damage the enemy does. So this will be very useful in endgame dungeons. So then let's move over to the best skills and I will give you 3 different builds for when you reach level 8, level 15 and level 20. So the best starter build at level 8 is to have Soulfire, Command Skeletons, Grim Sight, Corpse Explosion and Bone Spikes. The first ability called Soulfire shoots a ball of shadow fire that explodes. When it hits the enemy, it will inflict damage to the target and as well 25% as much damage to all nearby enemies. Then with this primary skill we get as well ultimate, which you can use when your ultimate meter is at full. So then when we activate our ultimate skill, called Hungering Soulfire, this will improve our normal Soulfire skills for 12 seconds. So instead of shooting basic attacks, you will be able to shoot multiple bone spirits that seek out enemies and deal damage. If you hit the same target multiple times, then he takes 75% reduced damage. So you want to use the skill when a lot of enemies are nearby. Overall I chose the skill because it is the best primary skill for Necromancer because of its ultimate, which happens to be the best ultimate in the game. Then the second skill is called Command Skeletons, which lets you summon a bunch of skeletons that you can command to charge to a specific location. And passively, this skill as well spawns new skeletons every 8 seconds. That will of course deal additional damage. Overall this is super cool ability that lets you summon minions and give you extra damage or protection from monsters. Then the third ability is called Grim Sight, that lets you use a magic sight that deals damage to all enemies in front of you. Each enemy hit generates a corpse up to maximum of 2. Overall this is a great starter skill that becomes even better at higher levels. Then for the fourth ability we have the Corpse Explosion, and this ability will detonate all corpses in the targeted area, each corpse dealing damage to all nearby enemies. Enemies that are hit multiple times by the same explosion will take 40% reduced damage. So like the previous skill, you want to spread them out and focus on doing damage when close to big monster groups. Overall this is amazing ability that lets you use the Necromancer specific resource called Corpse. So the general idea is that you kill monsters and each monster turns into a corpse, so then you can use those corpses to activate your skills, improve damage and much more. So in this case you first of all want to hit multiple enemies with the Grim Sight skill, and this will spawn few corpses. So then you use them to activate the Corpse Explosion for super high damage, and it's that simple. And then lastly, the fifth ability is called Bone Spikes, and the skill will shoot a bunch of bones from the ground, stunning enemies for 2 seconds and dealing damage. Charging longer, this skill will increase its range and damage, but I don't recommend to waste your time on charging this skill, because soon we will replace this one with a better ability, and as a Necromancer you constantly want to be on the move, instead of standing in one place for a long time. So then moving over to the next milestone, which is the level 15, and at this level we still want to use the same build, but just this time we switch out the Bone Spikes for Wrath form. So Wrath form transforms you into a Wrath, which in return gives you 50% increased movement speed and you become invulnerable for 2 seconds. Overall this is a very nice movement speed and survivability buff. Remember of course to not attack while it's active or the ability will be cancelled. And then lastly, when we reach level 20, we want to switch out the Wrath form for Skeletal Mage. So Skeleton Mage summons an immobile skeletal for 13 seconds that throws bolts of soulfire in any direction, each bolt dealing damage to all enemies in the bolt's path. Overall the Skeletal Mage is a strong summoning ability because you can use it to clean up low health enemies as well as keeping your kill streak active. So then let's go over to the best Necromancer attributes. And in general, while you're leveling and playing the game, you will find equipment. My recommendation is to never leave a single item on the floor, so pick up everything, and the things that you don't need, just salvage for more materials. So at the start you will encounter white, blue, yellow and orange items. So as you can tell, white items are the worst quality and orange aka the legendary items are the best. So as you level, you want to go from white items to blue to yellow and then lastly to full legendary. The way you build up attributes and stats for your class is by equipping gear with the specific attributes that you want to get. In total there are 5 primary attributes in the game, and all of them provide 1 offensive and 1 defensive rating for each point you have. So any attribute that you get will always make you stronger, but these attributes are not equally calculated for each class. So Barbarian will get more damage out of strength, while Wizard will get more out of intelligence and much more. So the main attribute that you want to get for Necromancer is intelligence, and then secondary attribute is vitality. The way you do this is by using the equipment that either way has intelligence or vitality. And for your weapons, you first of all want to prioritize how much damage it does, and then secondary the attribute. And then lastly, another great way to become more powerful is by upgrading your equipment. So what you want to do is go to the blacksmith and spend all of your salvage materials. Don't worry about wasting materials on upgrading bad equipment, because you can transfer upgrades for free. Even if you end up salvaging upgraded equipment, you will receive 100% of the invested resources as a refund. So every time that you're in a town, remember to come back to the blacksmith and upgrade all of your yellow and orange equipment to at least rank 6. So then moving over to the best gems, and you can find normal and legendary gems to further increase the power of your character. So during the Necromancer's leveling process, simply equip normal gems that you can find from the hidden layers, prioritizing pink gem aka the tourmaline that gives you more damage, then second of all get the blue gem aka the sapphire for more armor penetration, and then lastly get the yellow gem aka the topaz that will give you all resistance increase and much more. And then lastly for the second category we have the legendary gems, which I would recommend to only use for the best gear that you have and of course after level 60. So a good starter legendary gem is the Everlasting Torment that deals incredible damage over time after a critical hit. For a simple 1-star gem, this is very powerful. Then the second option is the Fervent Fang that does fantastic single target damage. You can easily get it from the battle pass without having to rely on luck. And then lastly, the third best option is the Carsense Invigoration. This gem works very well with the Necromancer's strong primary attack. So if you can, get the Carsense Invigoration gem first, but if not, then the other 2 options are good as well. So then let's move over to the leveling guide. And in Diablo Immortal, leveling up is a journey that you can approach with your own playstyle. The primary way that you level is by going through the main storyline and completing each and every zone's quest. Once you reach a new area, you may encounter a message that says you must reach X level before continuing. So then from here, there are 2 ways that you can level. The best way to level up, not counting the main quest and storyline, is to advance your battle pass. 2 ways that you can do that is by running dungeons efficiently, without stopping and only salvaging items when your bag is full. Or then the second best way is if you don't feel like spending your entire time in a dungeon, then you can go around the open world and complete every task and hidden layer that you see while doing main quest. And these hidden layers are random caves that you can enter and complete for easy rewards and experience. So then let's go over a few tips and checks that you need to keep in mind while leveling. Early on in the battle pass, you can choose 1 legendary for your class. I recommend taking the Baleful Trinity because it makes one of your primary attacks even more stronger. Then remember to keep finding better equipment for your character. Your bag will flash when you pick up better items, so keep an eye for that while leveling. Then as well keep upgrading your equipment at the blacksmith. I recommend turning on the auto pickup for all items in the settings, and once in a while return to the town to salvage. Then remember that the best and fastest damage combo is to use the Grim Sight and then the Corpse Explosion for very quick AoE damage. And then lastly, you want to unlock Reliquary at level 41. The Reliquary is a unique addition in Diablo Immortal. It's a great source of offensive and defensive rating increase that becomes very important after level 60. So at around level 41, you should be able to unlock it by completing the Bill of Fane. Then follow your quest to the West March, and there you can unlock the Reliquary. And you want to do this so you can start receiving Scoria resource from your daily bounties as soon as possible. So as this is a Necromancer's guide till level 60, I will end the video at this last feature, which is the paragon system. So you start gaining paragon levels after hitting level 60. Each level grants you 1 paragon point that you can allocate into any open category. In total there are 5 categories, and each one gives you more defense, XP bonuses and much more. So then for your Necromancer, right after you reach max level and start gaining paragon levels, you want to invest your points into the Vanquisher category and spend your first 5 points into the damage node, then spend your 6th point into the Zeal node, and then from here I will make a specific video on what you want to do for your endgame Necromancer build. So then last but not the least, let's go over a few tips and tricks that will help you out as a Necromancer. Remember that this class can do it all. He can summon, support, use crowd control, perform AoE and single target damage, and much more. So the way you want to play this class and build your playstyle around is doing a bit of everything and doing very well. So you want to have AoE damage skills, you want to have supporting skills, and etc. Then, as this is a mainly PvE guide, I wanted to mention that Necromancer has the best crowd control skills in the game. So if you ever are thinking about PvP, then this is a great class for that as well. Then most importantly, don't forget to turn on auto pickup in general settings, so you would be able to pick up everything from the ground, and then once in a while, you can come back to the town and salvage everything. Then as well, like I mentioned, keep upgrading your gear as often as possible, because this will help you out in clearing faster dungeons. And then lastly and most importantly, when you reach level 60, don't forget to come back to my channel to find the best endgame Necromancer build, and that's about it. So with that said, I really do appreciate everyone for watching, guys, and I hope you enjoyed it. If you have any suggestions, feedback, or other good Diablo Immortal classes that you would like to see in the next video, then feel free to leave your comments in the comment section down below. And while you're doing that, please click like, subscribe, and enable that notification bell, so this way you could support the channel and you won't miss any more amazing content from me. With all this said, you have a nice day, and I will see you in my next video. So take it easy, peace.